Why do you shut down your emotions? In case we haven't met yet, I'm Jess and I'm the sole founder of Life in Confidence. So why does this occur? Shutting down from what we want to feel or don't want to feel. With this, it's a coping mechanism that it is protecting us from not feeling into the full depths of our pain or trauma that we haven't moved through yet. Now, to give you an example, when I was 18, I was protecting my mother from getting hit from my father. And I stopped that by saying to my dad, "Don't hit her, you dickhead." And he came and hit me instead. And even though the hit didn't hurt me physically, but it hurt me right here. And so after my dad got his frustration out with me, he sat on his favorite lounge room chair and pretended as if he was sleeping. I was crying. And I was crying not because the hit hurt me. I was crying because how could my own father act out and lash out at me in violence? And all I wanted was to have a happy, functional, peaceful family and home. I couldn't concentrate during my high school years. I had really bad marks. And my mom would come to me after being beaten by my dad and say to me that you are so stupid for speaking up. Why did you say that? Go to your room, stop crying. And at that moment, I just could not bear it anymore. Both of my parents were not there to protect me, to support me. And so they both hurt me physically, emotionally, and psychologically. And I could feel this amount of chaos that I've never experienced before. And I believe this was a build-up of trauma. And when I felt it, I could see myself going down this path where I could have easily lost it and be completely nuts. But what stopped me from going down that path of being a lunatic is shutting down my pain, shutting down my feelings, including the feelings of happiness and joy, that it was safer to numb out my pain. And that was my coping mechanism to survive in that family dynamic. And as I noticed myself showing up in my adult life, I really struggled to feel happiness because I couldn't really feel my anger and the sadness because of this shutting down effect to protect myself from going inward, until I chose to do something about it. And that was a journey within itself to finally say yes to me. And going down this trauma recovery path, I was able to finally confront the demons inside of me, the trauma that has consumed me, that I shut off from. And by shutting off the pain, I operated in a very robotic way. I wasn't living my life. I was simply just existing. I couldn't feel the full depths of who I am on a soul level. And so when we start to open up the floodgates of our emotions that we suppressed and see it without judgment, to see it that this is something I need to face within myself, because I can't keep living like this anymore. To feel numb and not feel the full spectrum of my emotions That's not living at all. And when I was finally able to surrender into the process of fully letting go of my rage, the crazy in me that I suppressed from the age of 18 and really let it out, I became a transformed woman. A woman who is in her fire, her power, ready to fight for her life, to reclaim herself by unleashing the floodgates of trauma. And I never felt so alive, so expansive, so light. And whenever I get triggered, I notice that I don't numb out anymore. I actually feel the triggers now. And they become so intense. I would explode at my mum, or I would become passive aggressive and hold grudges towards her. And I've keep showing up in my engagement with my mother because I've realized I need to move through these triggers and the intensity of these feelings that I have shut down for such a long time, that I've suppressed. And now that I'm feeling them again, it's so intense. But I need to work through because it's not healthy for me to constantly blow up and run away from my mother. That's not addressing the problem. And so addressing the problem is facing the intensity of those triggers. And the more I keep doing that, especially with my mother in real time, I become better and better at it. The triggers become a lot more less intense because I've trained myself to change a behavior and cycle that it is safe to feel my triggers when I'm with my mother, rather than shutting myself down when I'm around my mother because of that memory when I was 18, that emotional and psychological abuse after being abused. And so from there onwards, whenever I feel the trigger, I allow myself to feel the anger. I allow myself to vent it, express it in some shape, way, or form. So I'm not constantly recycling it in my system. And it may take days for me to get that out, because it's just layers and layers of anger, of being suppressed for such a long period of time. And welcoming it rather than judging it, that this anger is toxic. No, it's not. It's toxic when it's suppressed. And then we become so numb, we shut ourselves from our emotions and we shut down mentally. We can't operate and think. We can't see things clearly because there's a part of ourselves that is not functioning and operating properly. So we need to be in coherence psychologically, emotionally. That will show up physically as a manifestation. That we are in alignment with our energy. Emotions are energy in motion. So if you are struggling with this, where you just find yourself constantly shutting down, just notice what is showing up for you. Notice how you are protecting yourself. An old version of you is protecting yourself from not feeling the pain. And I would highly recommend to work through the trauma to help you push through that shutdown effect, which is just a resistance for not going deep within yourself, because it's just too scary. It's vulnerable to feel these emotions. I totally get it. It's intense, but we need to feel it so we can move through it and break that cycle of shutting ourselves down, denying ourselves of feeling like a proper, healthy, functional human being. And so it's so easy to get drugged up and in whatever substance that is, whether it's prescription or alcohol or drugs or psychedelics, to not address the pain consciously and wholeheartedly with our all. And this is why I created my workshops, so you have that sacred space to fully express that pain and to be witnessed by people who are going through a similar journey to you. And this is the power of this container, is to be seen in your pain and not be judged for it. And this is where the shift begins, is to allow yourself to be seen in the pain. So if you are up for this experience in transforming that pain and breaking away from constantly shutting down and denying yourself of feeling the pain, as well as the joy and ecstasy within yourself that you are worthy to feel, then I invite you to come along to my Transforming Trauma Weekend Workshop in London. And I will be running another one in Sydney as well, which you can click on the link below. And we're going to focus on ancestral trauma clearing, past life trauma clearing, childhood trauma clearing, understanding the 5 types of childhood traumas, how they shape your personality, where you're holding it. We're going to do some emotional release processes in utero, as a baby, as a toddler, as a little boy and girl, and as a teenager, and as an adult. There will be body work to release trauma from your body that you're holding onto that needs to be freed up. There will also be light language transmissions and sound therapy and heart-centered activities with all of the participants in the space for you to really feel, wow, it is so safe to be seen in my trauma, especially with people that you don't know. And I'm able to create and facilitate that space to make that work. So if you are up for this experience, please click on the link below to learn more, to book a ticket, or to book a free clarity call to see if this is right for you or if you need a payment plan. The other thing is I am running my conscious relationship workshop in Adelaide, and this is focusing on clearing and moving through the projections that we have with our lovers and past lovers that is linked from our conditioning with our parents, breaking that cycle of the avoidant and anxious dynamic. And we're going to process that and how you can find yourself in healing through a relationship constellation and what needs to be shifted in that relationship constellation. There will be a conscious communication piece, how to communicate when you're feeling triggered, when you're not feeling like yourself, and if someone has upset you or broken your boundaries, there's a way to go about it without blaming people, and how you can integrate in a healing love chamber where we balance yourself into wholeness, being seen and witnessed in your healed masculine and feminine, which is an experience that you don't want to miss. So please click on the link below if you'd like to learn more, to book a ticket, or to book a free clarity call if this is for you, or if you need a payment plan. And also I'm running a connection circle for conscious men and women in Setagaya, Tokyo, Japan, with my beautiful beloved Rob, and we'll be coming together to be role models of a healthy feminine and masculine dynamic, how you can use creative expression to flow and dance through the masculine and feminine, wounded and healed. There will be a communication piece to it. There will also be healing involved, where Rob will guide you into a meditation and send Reiki through his hands, through touch and energy. And I'll be doing a light language transmission with the tuning fork to clear blockages in your aura and your physical body as well. So if you're up for that experience, please click on the link below to book a ticket. And if you can't attend to any of these locations, you can join me for my full moon past life trauma clearing circle via Zoom. And with that ceremonial experience, you are going to start clearing and healing from karmic ties that you've brought from your previous lifetime into this lifetime, where you're attracting possibly negative experiences, relationships, that isn't serving you, that you're not able to learn from the lesson from those experiences. There will be an astrological update for the full moon of that month and the month ahead, and there will be a personalized message for you to take to move forward. So please click on the link below to learn more and to book your spot. So if you got something out of this about shutting down our emotions and what's needed to come out of it, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel so I can reach more people who are in need of this content. And you are welcome to give this a like or comment below as well, and share it with your loved ones. And remember that trauma is not your identity. It is the light that's in your heart.